Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of podcast. What else is going on? Podcast with Taria. So listen, y'all know I always start out like this. For those of you that are watching, you know who this beautiful melanin queen is sitting on the other end of this camera. But for those of you that are listening, I have someone who shout out to my girl Stephanie from Mocha Minutes podcast. She basically introduced me to Brooke and her. I didn't say her name, child. So I was waiting till the end, but introduced me to Brooke. Her videos, I loved. It was season 5, Potomac, and I just loved how she took the time to like actually watch the show. And one thing I appreciated about Brooke was her passion and her not being afraid to be like, I'm feeling a type of way. So many times you get recappers or reviewers or people that are like, I don't even care about this show. Then I'm like, well, why are you invested? Like, I can't watch something I'm not invested in. So I appreciated her passion. So she's come on twice, and then we started building a relationship like off camera. And it was so funny because I texted the other day and I said, I love our growth. We went from, hi, my name is Taria. I would like you to come on the podcast, to, hi, would you want to come on again, to me saying, girl, let me know when you can stop through. So she is funny. She's fabulous. She is doing big things. Y'all, please welcome my girl, Brooke Ashley. Hey, Brooke.
Oh, what an introduction. Like that really just lifted up my spirits on this Tuesday. I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy to see you and your smiling, beautiful face. So I'm just very happy. I'm glad.
Y'all, Brooke is going to have me showing all teeth the whole recording. We were talking before we got on. I said, they're going to be like, Taria, you didn't close your mouth not one time. And it's because of Brooke. Y'all see all my fronts and my gaps. Maybe if I smile a lot, this will be my intro. I said I was going to start an OnlyFans, tiny toes and teeth gaps, because I have small feet like toes and I have a teeth gap. And I'm like, there is a market for my tiny toes and teeth gap, I feel like.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So you're looking beautiful in your pink. I want to start out by asking you, how are you? How have you been? Like, what's going on? I loved your interview with Nick, y'all. If y'all have not watched it, go over to Brooke's YouTube, the Brooke Ashley. She had an amazing interview with Nick. And I'm just going to throw it out there. I felt like Nick was like, Lala, can nobody, what's it, feeling like I'm feeling you, like I'm feeling you. I feel like Nick had heart eyes for Brooke. But anyway, how was it?
It was good. I mean, the interview was great. It went better than I could have even anticipated. And you guys loved the interview, which is great. I mean, the views are still climbing up, almost at 10,000 views.
Wow.
Yeah, it's doing really well. And overall, it's been a very busy season. But like on the days that I get overwhelmed, I remind myself that I'm living in an answered prayer.
Come on and preach, Brooke.
So that keeps me going. Because a few weeks ago, not that I got into like a little bit of a slump, but I just kind of felt like, I have so much going on, and like I want to get this done, and I'm praying. You have your goals that you
Yes.
have long term, and you're feeling okay. Well, I wish I were there, and then you
Yep.
say, what? I can't believe I'm even saying this, because where I am right now is such a blessing. And I'm so glad that to be doing what I'm doing. And I can't even believe that I'm sitting up here worrying about the next step and if I'm going to see it. The fact that, I had no idea that my YouTube channel would do so well. How can I even doubt where I'm going to go next? So, yes, right. I didn't even mean to get all preachy, but
I was going to say, you always come on and bless my spirit. And I believe you're probably blessing the listeners and the viewer spirit. So no, I love, because it's motivation to me. I tell you all the time that it's motivating and inspiring. So one thing I love about you and your lives as well is you share a part of yourself with us, and not just the wins. You share the doubts that you may have working toward these wins, or even as far as giving us advice on, when you're working on something. What y'all that watch Brooke, y'all know what she says. Keep that mouth closed, move in silence, because you never know who is preying on or for your downfall. And you shared your personal experiences. Y'all, I'll never forget one time I was doing something, and I was venting to Brooke about something and mentioning that I had told somebody something. Girl, I heard Brooke's voice through the text. Taria in all caps. What have I told you?
I was like,
You're right. You're right. I had a momentary laugh. You're right. That was funny. So I appreciate you sharing yourself with us.
oh, thank you.
Yeah, we definitely do. So now, oh, go ahead.
No, that was all I was going to say. Thank you. I appreciate that. You know, I just think that it's good for people to know that, you know, you're not alone in feeling, you know, if you feel like a goal is taking too long or why hasn't this happened yet, just know that, you know, what's that quote? Like, trust the timing of your life. If you got something too soon, you could fumble it.
Yeah.
So that's what I always say. I always say to myself, you know, don't ever get focused on numbers because I mean, I always say to myself, you know, with the numbers that I have, I feel like I get the same opportunities of people who have 10 times more. So, you know, don't get fixated on, okay, well, I only have this many people, I need this many. No, you can still have a lot of influence with a certain amount. So don't get fixated on a specific number. Just keep going. Be consistent and just really have that passion and that talent. And, you know, the sky's the limit.
You know, you are so right. You preached a word about numbers because I was looking at my Instagram account, and that's one of the things where I'm like, I post things on there, but it's not like where I've taken time to craft this Instagram. So I'm, you know, you look at people who you started around the same time as or after you. And I was looking at I'm like, my account hasn't really grown a lot in the last year. But then when I post something or when I post a reel, I'm like, okay, I may only have 6,000 followers still, but 30, 40, 50, 60,000 people are looking at like some of my analytics. I'm like, whoa, this is wild. Then I don't let myself get into the thought process of, well, why aren't they converting the followers? It doesn't matter. I have an impact.
Yes.
Clearly. So I just need so like you said, I'm just going to focus on that. And for all of you listening, no matter what you're doing, focus on what you're doing and just know that you have an impact, even if it's one person.
Yeah, and also I always say you don't need everybody to watch you. You just need the right eyes watching you. And as long as you have the right people watching you, it doesn't matter.
You
I
have
mean,
said a
you
word.
right? Right?
Yes, that is a word. You don't need everybody. You just need the right ones.
The right eyes. I always ask for the right eyes. I don't really care about, you know, I care about quality over quantity. So I said I just want the right eyes on me.
Come on, that's going to be a part. I'm adding that to part of prayer for my career. I love that. The
Just
right
the right
eyes.
eyes
The
on
right
you.
eyes watching and the right ears listening to the podcast.
Yes.
Well,
Yep.
speaking of right eyes and right ears, can we talk about real quick before we get into Jersey? What's going left in Atlanta, it seems like. So y'all know what's been going on. I'll just say allegedly, Kenya and Brooke got into it at one point, and then at Kenya's grand opening, she allegedly showed pictures of Brooke performing fellatio, and we did.
You mean Brittany?
Oh, Brittany. Yeah, I keep saying that. Brooke said, "You mean Brittany?"
No, it's okay. I'm like, no worries. I'm honored if I'm ever in a spat with Kenya Moore.
Right. And you showing my intimate pictures. That's what it was, bro. Like, but listen, but and so they're saying that she showed these pictures of Brittany, and then we saw the poster board saying, "You insurance fraud hoe."
Yep.
And she is Snapchatting her coochie, and those are the things. And I see a lot of different commentary. I see some people saying, yes, Kenya Moore is on her Kenya. Yes, they're experiencing who Kenya really is. Kenya only goes low if someone comes for her. Then I'm seeing a lot of the other side where it's like, oh, we knew Kenya would go this low or this is low. How do you feel about it all?
So I did a video about this, and yeah, I did. I dropped it yesterday, but I'm just a bit disappointed. I'm like, Kenya, why would you do this at your place of business? And I like Kenya. I'm like, you know, Kenya has worked so hard. We've seen her. She came on the show in season 5. She's been on here for what? It's going to be her 11th season. And I'm like, why would you jeopardize all that you've worked so hard for by doing this? I mean, I could see this if you do this at like a lunch or a dinner when you guys act up, but not at your place of business. You have too much to lose. Now the focus isn't even on your event and your hair spa. It's about this now. And I know that people say, oh, all press is good press. And that's true to some extent. But I just feel like at your place of business, you've worked really hard. You spent millions of dollars. You're trying to get people to come. I would not stoop to this level. I would have done this another time. And I don't know. I'm just not loving these antics at your grand opening for your hair spa.
I love how you said, because I think, didn't you say that in your video that I would have done it at like a lunch? Maybe we want to get into it, maybe pass around a picture like you at a luncheon, but not at the spa. And it gave me shades of Marlo, something that
Yes.
Marlo would do. And I was like,
Yes.
this is like gutter to me. Like,
we got rid of Marlo for a reason. And it gave very much Marlo vibes. And I also said in my video, I said, Marlo's not here. We don't need this. And also, I really hope and pray that Kenya would not be foolish enough to even engage in revenge P. That's serious. You could really lose everything messing with that. So I hope that that's not true. I mean, so far, nobody's been able to produce any footage of her showing explicit images, thank God. But I'm hoping that it's not true at all, because those are some serious consequences. And I would hate for Kenya to lose everything that she's worked so hard for. She's gone through too much to go out sad. And I don't want her to go out sad. I like Kenya, but I really pray and hope that this is not true. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But my thing is, ultimately, I'm getting tired of these leaks and spoilers. Can we please be surprised? Like I always say, move in silence. We don't need to know about what's going on. By the time the season actually airs, nobody's going to be surprised or eagerly anticipating what's to come, because we've already seen it play out on the blogs, on page 6. It's enough.
It's enough. And like you said, you don't want to see Kenya go out sad, especially over a newbie.
Yes.
Somebody that's new. And my thing is too, it's like because people have said Kenya's so smart. Exactly. You're smarter than that. So the statement that she released to me was very word salad, lawyer-y. She never came out denying I showed pictures. It was very much like, I didn't engage in revenge P. And it's like, so that's not saying you didn't do that. And I feel like, I don't know, it just, there's also the part of me, and I said this, and I haven't always been the biggest fan of Kenya, but I've definitely throughout the years grown a fondness for her. I said, although I hope that Kenya didn't do this, I didn't think it was beneath her to do either. So like when I heard it, it was like, dang, Kenya, really? But I didn't really think that it was beneath something. And I get it. I always preach, you can't come for somebody and dictate their response back. But again, like you said, this wasn't at a lunch. This wasn't at somebody else's gathering. This is at your place of business, allegedly, your grand opening. Why would you want the attention off of you and on to someone new? Like people are saying, I've seen somebody say she's experiencing Kenya. It's like, wow, Kenya. So she had to get you right. This newbie, because they keep saying the newbies can't handle it. This newbie got you so riled up that you did something like this.
It's ridiculous. And they're only 3 weeks into filming.
Yes, that's my thing. Yeah. And I don't want to know anymore either. I'm okay with spoilers, but I'm realizing to an extent.
Yes.
Like y'all posting first week of filming is done. Then we're seeing video footage. We're seeing all of this and it's coming from them. It's like, okay, at what point? And a part of me is wondering though, if there is production or somebody working with them leaking this stuff to try to get the attention back, just like with Potomac and Gizelle and Wendy.
I could see that.
Because like I follow, well, not follow, but I watched a blogger. Her name is Michelle Ayan, straight out of the A. And I will say a lot of her things that she has said about Atlanta have definitely been true. So she was invited to the event, didn't go, but she didn't go inside because she was told, because I guess she has a contentious relationship with some of the housewives, because they get upset with,
Thank you.
and she was invited. She wasn't going to go. Then she RSVP'd yes. And then she got a phone call an hour later and was like, listen, I'm just giving you a heads up. They're going to try to embarrass you. Like they're banning you. They want to be able to turn you away at the door. And she was like on camera. And they were like, yes. And he was like, I don't want to see that happen to another Black woman. So I'm giving you the heads up. So instead of her going to the event, she parked across the street at this apartment complex. She literally filmed everyone. So when people were saying Brittany wasn't there, Kelly wasn't there, she's literally filming from her car. You see Brittany and Kelly walk in. You see Cynthia. She stops and talks to Cynthia. Cynthia's on camera. And then you see, and everything that Media Takeout was reporting, even though they're not known for they were right at first. And I don't know if they got it from her blog, I'm just saying, or from her Patreon, but it was so wild to see them all walk in. And then you see a rush of people walk out, like people just walking out. So people saying that Brittany wasn't there when they showed it, but Brittany and Kelly were a part of those people that were all walking out together. People were coming up to her car saying, girl, you won't believe what just happened. Kenya just showed Brittany, da-da-da. People, this is all, she has all this on video. People are literally saying to her, girl, you won't believe what happened. This is what Kenya just did. That's why all these people are walking out. Yes. And I'm like, oh my. And so for me, it's like, and then after hearing that audio, what do you think about that audio?
The audio, she's going off. And I included the audio in my video
Yes,
too. And she was just going on. And I'm like, why? The focus is on you and your business. It should not be on anybody or anything else. And then stuff that's just so gutter. Why even bring that to your place of business?
Yeah. Like, it's like that's old news with Brittany. Been there, done that. If any of those things are true. I feel like the way she showed up to Marlo's thing with the band Kenya Moore Hair Care, I feel like she Kenya Moore Hair Cared herself by doing this.
Yes, yes.
All of this.
It's true. And somebody also on Twitter made a good point about how they notice a lot of the ladies go to reads. It's always slut shaming. And I don't like that. I'm like, everybody's grown.
Come on.
Like, let's just be real. I mean, come on, we're grown. So it's a little foolish to think that people have never had. I mean, it's just really a silly conversation.
Yes. Yeah.
I hate that, saying, you're cheap and you're a whore and, you slept. Even if she is on Snapchat doing whatever with Yo Gotti or whatever rapper, it's none of your business. That's her personal business. That's what she wants to do. Why do you care so much? But I don't like all that. I feel like if you're going to read somebody, let it be about something else, not slut shaming somebody.
Yes, because like you said, let's keep it real. We're all grown.
Yes.
We've all had some form of something somewhere on us.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
It just may not be on film.
And everybody, listen, God bless, people who are waiting and staying pure till marriage. But
yes.
The rest of us,
I just thank God there wasn't a phone in the room at the time. Who knows? What I text my husband and said, I'm glad that I missed the Freaknik wave. And that's all, because that's all I'm gonna say. So God bless for no cameras. Like you said, we've all been whatever.
It's just a silly conversation. So I mean, to bring that up, I didn't love that. Again, it's her place of business. Kenya, you are so much better than this.
Yes.
Kenya has just accomplished so much. She's so beautiful. Like, why even pay any attention to this? Like, it's just silly. It's nonsense.
And I think to me, that's where it gets hard when I know that I couldn't do reality TV, because when you're working on yourself in real life, yes, you want to empower women. So you work with these girls clubs and you do all this stuff. And then, like you said, it goes back to slut shaming. Like, come on. So I hope she didn't do it. I I'm not going to throw her away if she did do it, but I do want to see if it plays out because I feel like it could go one of two ways. It could be, if it's not technically revenge P, Bravo still may be like, we are not airing this and getting our hands dirty. Or they could say, I feel like that they are trying to phase Kenya out just based off of who they hired. And I feel like they could air it and let this be her, like, be a part of the reasoning for pushing her out.
Yes, that, and did you see how Bravo has allegedly launched an investigation in this whole entire thing too? The article that I read in page 6, they said that Bravo is doing an investigation, so this is not a good look. And then let's say that they do scrap out this episode. That is a huge L for Kenya because this episode was supposed to show her business. So if they scrap this out, now that's less promo for her hair spa. So, I mean, that's an opportunity wasted because she, so I'm like, I'm praying that they do show the episode because that way her salon will be on the camera. If they scrap it, that's going to be a huge loss in terms of promotion.
And that'll be the second time because remember, they didn't show it last year and she went on Carlos King and said they didn't show her soft opening.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah, I'm like, I know we give Kenya kudos and praise for what she brings to the show, but I feel like if this is true, this is more of a sloppy move, like not a thought out through move. Like this is so wild. Well, do you think we're going to get Atlanta the end of 2024, like the old days, or do you think it'll be 2025?
I think 2025.
Oh, I was hoping. That's what people keep saying, and I'm hoping somebody says, no, I heard 2024, but yeah, probably 2025.
Yep, because they just started filming. They'll probably be done filming in like end of September, October.
Yeah, that's true.
You need the time to edit and get the trailer out. So yeah, we'll probably see it. Maybe it might come out, if I had to guess, February or March of 2025.
Yeah, I could see that sounds right. I could see that. The only way I could see it being any different is if they rush. I do wish that we would kind of get back to our old scheduling where we're not waiting a year, just like with Dubai, how it's been a year since you filmed all this. So even if they did make up behind the scenes, they're still not really going to share that with us because we're just watching the show. So I wish we would kind of get back into one thing, even though I felt like they needed a longer break, but I will give it to Potomac. They kind of stayed on schedule, like, boom, we're jumping right back in. Speaking of Potomac, Dr. Wendy and Gizelle, I loved your talking about that and how you said, listen, at the end of the day, the day's got to end. No, like Glorilla. But no, we understand why, because there are a lot of people upset with Dr. Wendy. And it's like, we got to keep in mind that we are filming a show.
Yes.
So I thought it was funny and I posted it. And that's why I said, I've been saying it since the seating chart came out with Potomac last year. I said, when I saw that seating chart and Gizelle wasn't first seat, I said, let's see how fast she'll be willing to move forward. And if we saw that, to me, it would ring as phony and not as authentic. And somebody commented and said, you got all that out of a 15-second clip. No, I got all of that out of the past 2 years that Gizelle has basically refused to speak with Wendy or engage with Wendy or say her name. And then all of a sudden, you're now hugging her at her party. So that's where I got that from. So what do you think?
I think that Gizelle is being strategic. She's being smart. And for all the people who just swear that I hate Gizelle for no reason, let the record show that season 1 of Potomac, I loved her and Robin. They were my favorite. I never liked Ashley. I was always on the fence about Katie. I thought Katie was very erratic, fraudulent, not truthful about her upbringing, kind of a phony. I thought that Karen and Therese are both pretentious. I love Gizelle and Robin. Somewhere down the road, things turn, their true colors came out, and that's why we're here now and why I side-eye them and say the things that I've said. So let's clear that up. So I'm not afraid to to change my mind when I see certain things. All right. But I was a fan of both her and Robin. They were my faves in the first season. But anyway, I really think that Gizelle is being smart, and you have to understand that these Bravo checks
Come
are
on.
heavy, especially she's an OG. Her and Karen and Ashley are probably seeing around, if I had to guess, I would not be surprised if the three of them are seeing between 600,000 and 800,000 for them being on the show for 9 seasons. That's a substantial check for only 3 months of work.
Yes.
And and everything's being comped as well. You get to comp all the dinners for the most part. I mean, the parties, you pay for that out of your own pocket, but the dinners and the lunches and the vacations, that's all free. So who wants to give that up? You're telling me you want to give up an $800,000 check and all the perks that come with it, all the speaking engagements, all the events you get to be invited to. When you're off TV, people have a short memory. They all of a sudden forget you. It's hard to get invited to the same events. You're yesterday's news, right? So the longer you're off of TV, the harder it is for you to get back in the game. She does not want to lose that check, that fame, that notoriety.
Yes.
Because if she's off the show, that affects her and Robin's podcast. Nobody will care. People only care because they're on the show. Well, now Robin isn't, but Gizelle still is. I think that Robin's firing definitely shook her, because Robin, I was told by my sources, she also felt that she was untouchable, and that she, again, this is what I heard. I have my friends who work at NBC Universal. Shout out to them. But they had let me know that Robin, for a little while, she thought that she was on the same level as Gizelle, where she had protection and could do what she wanted. She saw that was not the case, and now I'm sure that shook Gizelle. And Gizelle said, "Listen, I have 3 kids in college.
Oh, come on."
The G-Wagon car note that's running her a cute, probably $2,500 a month. She has her mortgage. Okay, she still wants to go to Van Cleef and Arpels. She has this fashion line that she has to keep up with Ashley. So stop it." She said, "Let me call Wendy up and stop playing." She said, "Hey, girl, how you doing?"
Listen here, Wendy. We are sorority sisters, okay?
Yes, and I'm sure that their sorors probably said, "This is ridiculous. This makes the sorority look bad." I wouldn't be surprised if their fellow AKAs had to talk with Gizelle and say, "Hey, let's wrap this up. It's not a good look." And I really think that the Essence article, I hate to be so long-winded.
Oh, no, this is why you're here. No.
Okay. But I think that the Essence article also did some damage. I think that even though Andy did not address it at the reunion, he probably did mention it behind closed doors and said, "This is a horrible look for the network. We cannot have a Black women's publication talking about a Black show. So let's get it together. Let's nip this in the bud right now." And I believe that talks were had, some heads were rolled, and everybody's on the good foot now to say, "Hey, we got to make this show work, and we got to put this aside."
That I definitely agree with you, especially like you said, Essence Magazine, which is revered in the Black community. Let's just, it's around for years, and for them to write an article as such about a reality show featuring Black women is like, I definitely felt the same. It's to me, it's like, if they made up, okay, great, but I know what it is going in. It's like, okay, I know what it is. I don't get genuine from Wendy, and that's okay. That's cool. I was listening to Rodney The Voice, and he made a good point. He said Wendy doesn't. It would have been up to Gizelle basically to make up with Wendy, because now with Robin gone, Ashley will go anywhere the wind blows, and it could have been Karen, Wendy, Mia, Kiarna. And she's already shaded the new girl. Gizelle, did you see that interview she did with, I believe it was Good Day DC? Yes. And she said she loved the new girl. Didn't y'all fire her? It's like, now that was shade. So she comes for you. Yeah. And in that same interview, it was interesting because I noticed Gizelle always points back to her kids, the colorist accusations. That hurts my kids. Wendy said this, that hurts my kids. I hope that they have a sit down that we see, and Wendy says to her, you know, the accusations that you made about my kid's father, that hurts my kids. The things you've said about me and my husband, that hurts, because they have kids. You're not the only one with kids.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
I feel like her kids are her shield. And even this season, let's be real. Yes, we love the family. I don't mind family moments, but we already know what the season's going to be about. Her kids going off to college. Like, that's all she's bringing.
Well, now she's bringing a friendship with Wendy again.
That's yeah, and
That's
we can see how that came about. That's true. And you know what? You saying that she did kick the girls out of, allegedly, out of her and Ashley's party. So yeah, you're right. So it may be we may get more, not emotions, but other layers out of her if we see her in opposition with more, without a backup.
Yep.
And
I also think that, to piggyback off what you were talking about, the colorist conversation that we've been having for a long time surrounding Gizelle, I think that those comments definitely got to her, and she realizes that it's a bad look to still carry on a grudge with Wendy, who happens to be dark skinned. You've been able to make it with Karen multiple times. Karen has called you everything but a child of God multiple times in multiple seasons. You guys have gone for the jugular. Yeah. Karen said that you're a whore from Hampton University. You have a hot box. You went to Sing Sing regarding her mental health. That
type legs, talked about her neck.
Sure did. Said that she can't dress worth a good damn. Okay, she said that season 5. She said, thank God Gizelle is a beautiful woman, because she can't dress at all. God damn. She sure did say that, didn't she? Yes, Karen has been on Gizelle's neck for quite some time. So she can forgive Karen multiple times. She can forgive Wendy, and she never had any grounds to stand on with disliking Wendy in the first place. She started it with Wendy, and Wendy just clapped back and said, do not talk about my husband or my marriage, to insinuate that I got my body done because of these cheating rumors. That's preposterous. Like, how dare you? She was well within her right to read Gizelle. They should have moved on, then put that to bed. But Gizelle looked foolish holding a grudge to something that she started and created the whole time. So that's why this whole feud between her and Wendy never made sense, because you started with Wendy. So Wendy had the right to be mad at you. You didn't have the right to be mad at her. So it was so silly. But I will say, I am ecstatic that we're going to see them all be able to film together. There will not be any more division. Thank God for it, because we couldn't go on with them just hating each other. This one's not speaking to that one. It's uncomfortable and it's unbearable to watch.
And it wasn't even like, we're filming together. I'm okay with filming, but I'm gonna let her know I can't stand her, and we get some interaction. It was just Gizelle. That scene of Robin bringing up Candace and Wendy supposedly making faces when Gizelle's kids were mentioned, and then Wendy walking up saying, what was said? And Gizelle just moving her face and not saying a word. That to me was what got me. It was like, no, you had all that to say when I was 5 feet away, 10 feet away. Now I'm standing here and we're filming a show. I would see people say, Wendy is phony because she's talking to Gizelle. Again, I had to remember, this is also their job at the end of the day. And if she didn't want to talk to Gizelle, if she didn't want to talk to Karen, if it didn't kind of make sense or go along with the story, then she would need to go then, because we need interaction. Y'all need to film together. So speaking of, well, let me ask you this. So are you looking forward to the next season of Potomac, or are you just open to, I'm going to dip my head in, see what's going on, and that's that?
I'm going to dip my head in. Well, I'm going to see what the trailer gives first.
Yes, okay.
Dip my head in, peep in and out. I don't know if it's going to be a steady thing with me reviewing every single week. I might just do one episode here, one episode there. I will be tuned in for the sit-down conversation between Gizelle and Wendy, and I
Yes.
will be seated for the party episode when they share
Yes.
hugs and they're dancing together and
Mhm.
they were strolling. They were all,
Yes.
saw how they were all strolling together.
Yes.
So I want to see that. I want to see. I want to see. So those two episodes, I will be seated for that. I can guarantee you. I know that for sure.
I do wonder if Robin will make an appearance at a party
You know,
that's what I was thinking.
yeah.
Did you see Kiana's live? She did a
No.
live. Okay, she did a live, and I guess she was reading the questions, and somebody was like, "Are you going to sue?" And I'm paraphrasing because I don't have the exact, but it was like, "Are you going to sue Deborah for what she did to you or something like that?" And she was like, "Yeah, I do believe legal action or something needs to be taken." And then somebody somebody said Ashley's big, and this is what they were saying on the live. Something about Ashley's forehead and she's jealous of you. And she was like, "Oh, we're getting into Ashley, honey," or something like that. And then just kind of moved on. And I was like, oh, because remember at the reunion last year, she told Ashley, "You don't take accountability for
Sure did.
anything."
Sure did.
So it will be interesting to see. Child, and now we're going to have to sit through Ashley singing. I said,
Not me. I will have that on mute. I will be.
I used to fast forward all her scenes. So I will probably start doing that again. So, yeah. Speaking of fast forwarding, what I did not fast forward was the Real Housewives of Dubai. I know we'll just touch on Jersey real quick, but what did you think about the first episode of Dubai? And then I have a specific scene that I need to ask you about.
Okay, so I thought that the premiere episode was cute. They did a nice job. I loved how we're already seeing the foreshadowing of the
Ooh.
breakdown of Ayan and Lisa Milan's friendship crumbling. I liked how the petty drama about who had the better seats to see Beyonce when Beyonce came into town. And they're
Yes.
like, "Oh no, we were VVIP. They were regular VIP. We were right there when she sang. The spit from her mouth touched my forehead." Caroline says, "I got wet by Beyonce. She splashed the water and it hit me in my hair. No, we had the better seats." That is what I want to see on Housewives. Like, I
Yes.
want to see that. I think that it was a strong premiere episode. Already, I'm kind of like, they did not need to keep Sarah. Sarah kind of rubs me the wrong way. The holier than thou act,
Oh,
but she's just as passive aggressive and just as nasty as I see right through it.
I see the same. I was like, I did not care for her since season one. I just, something about her rubbed me phony to me.
Yes.
Very phony. I will say, I feel the same. I feel like it was a good episode. It was fun. It was light. You can see how Lisa defends Chanel when Chanel was in the argument with Sarah at the table, and she was like, "I'm not feeling good about." They were talking to Sarah. Sarah was talking about her spiritual journey at the luncheon, and Ayan starts to cry, and they're like, "What's wrong?" And she's like, "I'm upset by this because," and then she goes into what she felt like Sarah said about her in these articles. And Sarah was kind of dancing around it. And Lisa stepped in and said, "No, why did you call her a victim, period?" I was like, she had her friends back. And I'm wondering if that's going to play into maybe Lisa feeling like Chanel didn't have her back when it came to Caroline and Lisa.
Mhm.
Brooks is a snake to me. Like,
Yes.
girl, you are almost in a dangerous way. I feel
Yes.
like there's some darkness to me I get from her. Like, the scene I wanted to ask you about, because as much as we appreciate Chanel Ayan, I'm not going to lie. There are times when she's a lot for me.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And yes. Oh, can we talk about it? Let's talk.
Please, because I was like, girl, when her and Sarah walked away to sit down, and Sarah brought up Chanel responding to her pictures on Twitter, like being nasty,
Mhm.
and us basically finding out that was before Sarah did her interviews. I said, and then Chanel didn't want to address that. She just wanted to brush, and I was like, no, 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 no. So that's what I wanted to ask you. How did you feel during that interaction? Because I was ready to jump down Sarah's throat, like, oh, and then I was like, oh, Chanel.
Yeah, Chanel Ayan, she kind of throws rocks and hides her hand just a little bit, and just also Chanel Ayan, and I said this before, and when I recapped last season, and when I tell y'all, I don't like how people can just love somebody so much that if you say one little thing, they want to say, oh my gosh, why are you being so mean? And that's a fellow Black woman. This is not about hating anybody. I don't hate anybody. Like, let's stop. They're on a show. You want to hear my opinions, right? So I'm giving you my opinion.
Yes.
It's coming from a pure place. I'm not trying to down anybody, but people got so mad when I said it. And I said, Chanel and, beautiful woman, met her at BravoCon twice. But Chanel suffers from not doing too much, but she just tries way too hard. Like, she's always trying to have a catchphrase or a read, and it's like, let it flow naturally.
Yes.
You can tell that when she says certain things, she's like, damn, I really ate that up. Like, oh my gosh, when they show this, it's gonna be like it's too much of that. You could see it, you see like the wheels turning in her head.
Yes.
Like, oh my gosh, I really just ate that. And I'm like, girl, you don't have to try so hard.
Yes.
That's what made the earlier seasons of Housewives so great. It was off the cuff. They were just naturally witty. And I'm like, Chanel, just let it come to you. Everything just always seems so rehearsed.
Yes.
Like the reads are rehearsed. You could tell she sat, she wrote them down and studied them. Okay, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say that. Especially her confessionals. She's trying too hard to be so witty and funny. And I'm like, it just takes away from the essence of who she is. Like, girl, I know you're a bomb person. I know you're really a girl. Show us that. Don't try to be this person that you think that we want to see. Just be her. And that's what annoys me about her sometimes. I feel like she just done and it borders on annoying.
Yes. Yes.
And insufferable, and I'm like,
when she was in that argument with Sarah, and Sarah was like, you always want to be the center of attention. And she's like, I am the center. It was just like, yes. That is not what no. Stick to the argument, Chanel. Yes. Stick to no, we're not doing that.
That's the argument went off the rails.
Yes, come on. You could have ate her if you had to just stuck to the point. Had you not started in on her first, not saying what Sarah said was right, because it wasn't right. But I'm not gonna lie. I saw where Sarah was trying to go with that, meaning basically because when she said, just because you've been cut, you don't get to bleed on other people. And Chanel's like, do I look like I bleed? Girl, we all bleed. Like that. No, that's not what she's saying. So Sarah was trying to say basically just because hurt people shouldn't feel like they should hurt people. Her wording choice, but also Chanel, you were coming for her on Twitter. Again, I don't agree with what Sarah said necessarily, but she was kind of responding back to you, after you had come for her a couple times. And then when Chanel was like, well, I was joking. Girl, if we're not talking, how would I know that you were joking?
Exactly. And I don't like I didn't like that. That was a cop out. And I'm just like, just say it with your chest. Just say, I didn't like you. I was being shady, because those weren't jokes. Come on, those aren't jokes. And if I had somebody who claimed to be a friend is joking like that with me, shading me on social media, we're going to have an issue.
Yeah.
Don't joke like that with me. I don't do those kind of jokes, those backhanded compliments, those little reads and digs. I don't do that. So, I thought that was kind of a cop-out. I feel like Chanel Ayan kind of tries to hide behind humor and being silly as a way to get out of things. But it's like, no, Chanel, you said it. Own it and say, hey, I'm sorry. Or if you don't want to apologize, say, yeah, I said it, and what? I don't take it back. I don't care. I wanted to hurt your feelings. It is what it is. I'd rather that than her try to play it off like it was a joke.
Yes, and excuse it away. Like you said, I said what I said, and I'm still mad because you said I try to victimize myself.
Yes.
Because then at that point, it's like, okay, great. But then I said, Sarah had enough when she said, stop renting your clothes. I said, oh, wait
Yeah.
a minute.
Okay. It gives the appearance that Ayan does not have as much money as the rest of them.
Yes.
That's
And
what it gives when she said that.
Ayan certainly did not say, unless they cut it out, I do not rent my clothes.
Oh, remember at BravoCon 2022, Phaedra said that to her too when she
That's
tried to
right.
meet Phaedra. And Phaedra said, well, at least I own all, like, you might not like my fashion, you might think I'm gaudy and tacky, but I own all my pieces. Like this Fendi right here, I bought that. It's in my closet. This Dolce & Gabbana, this Versace, this Givenchy, I own that, sweetie. All your clothes are rentals. And then Ayan had to walk away. Ayan had nothing to say. So I'm just like, wait, what is this about where she's renting all her clothes?
And especially you having somebody from Atlanta
Yes.
saying this, and now you have somebody on her it is giving the appearance of, I may not have as much as the rest of the girls.
And I feel like we haven't seen her home yet. Like last season, we didn't see Ayan's home.
Now that you say that, I don't, you're gonna make me have to go back and watch, because I honestly, I don't remember seeing her home. I remember seeing everyone else's home.
Yeah, we didn't see her home last season.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, so it's like they're definitely alluding that she doesn't have what they have financially.
Which almost makes sense. I feel like she's, in her mind, Chanel sees Carolyn as the head girl.
Yeah. Oh, she does. Oh, that's absolutely, like, there's no debate about that. Yeah. She definitely views Caroline Stanbury as the it girl, the leader of the group, the leader of the pack. Like, she's desperate to be friends with her.
I'm like, I hope it's not going to go the way I think. My feeling is, and maybe because I like Lisa Milan, and I could be wrong. I'm saying that up front. This is my prediction, but I will come back and say if I was wrong. But I almost feel like, did you throw Lisa away for Caroline?
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Because at that luncheon, it was very much like, it felt almost, it didn't feel natural with them together. I honestly feel like Caroline Stanbury and Lisa would be more natural than Chanel and Caroline.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting to see, I guess. And Tahine, from what I can tell, it's been one episode, but I feel like maybe she'll be fun. Maybe we're going to see Brooks turn on her. It seems like from the trailer.
Yeah, and she gets into it with her husband too. I'm like, I don't know. Brooks gives miserable. Like I didn't care for Brooks last season either. And then she's on every content creator, every podcaster's show, getting angry, commenting. She's in the live chat, harassing people. I'm like, girl, do you want to talk about the show or not? Like, do you want us to help y'all out or not? Like, girl.
I've said this before, in their lounge at BravoCon last year, in the lounge where the Bravo Lebs were.
Yeah, the VIP lounge.
Yes, I went back there, and it was the Vanderpump Rules kids, the Vanderpump Rules people, and a couple other people, Sweet Tea, and Chanel was back there. Chanel was leaving, and Brooks was there. I was standing there minding my bit, like just kind of like. And she was like, "You want a picture?"
No, she did.
So I took one because I was like, wait, did I ask her for one? No, I didn't. Because I was very specific. I only asked 2 people for pictures, Cy from New York and Jordan from Summer House. And so she was like, do you want a picture? And I was like, okay. So we take a picture. And I said, I forget how I introduced myself, and I said, oh, I have a podcast. And she goes, I want to come on the podcast, just like that. And I was like, oh, really? Okay. And she was like, yeah, I want to come on. So, when they say that stuff, I'm going to call you. But okay, so how do I get in touch with you? Because at BravoCon, I asked Rachel Lindsay, that's where I asked her to come on, and she gave me her information, who to reach out to, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, all right, Caroline is doing the same thing. So she was like, oh, you go here on my social media, da da da. Girl, Brooke, you already know how this ends. You already know this is how the story ends.
I already know.
I said, okay, anytime that happens to me and it's not somebody that I have been wanting to come on for whatever reason, it doesn't work out. And that's for the better because, ma'am, I wouldn't have anything good to say about you. I literally, what pissed me off though was I worked really hard on my outline to make it not show. I didn't want it to be about the show. Let's learn more about your life that you talked about. I'd wasted my little hour and a half working on something for you. And I didn't even ask for a picture with you. You did all. That's what makes me mad. It's like, and then you all, I want to come on the show. I even sent her a picture because I told her I was going to do it like Rachel Lindsay. I was like, I'm going to send a picture so you remember this face. So I said that to Brooks. I was like, I'm going to send a picture. Girl, nothing. I said,
Ciao.
But yeah, you know how that story was going to end.
Yeah, listen. And then once you do that, we will never be in contact again.
Ever. I don't care if you swing back around.
Okay.
No, ma'am.
Like how the folks are asking me to get a certain person to
Come
on
on.
the channel.
Say it.
Oh, no, honey, that ship has sailed.
Baby wanted to put me on ice when she was put on ice. Go thaw out on another platform, boo.
So, yeah.
I was going to say something. I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to be quiet, Brooke. I'm not going to say what I was going to say. Okay, I'll save that for off camera because I was getting ready to say something really smart. Okay. Yeah, they're over there now they're all thawing out. Okay. All right. So we talked about Dubai. We got a few more minutes, y'all, because Brooke is a busy woman. Which she is. I love, and I have to go back. You are living in answered prayer. So when you start feeling overwhelmed and all these things going on, I love how you said, let me take a minute because this is where I want it to be. Yes. So thank you for that reminder and something to continue to pray and to recognize when you're there.
Yep.
So I appreciate that.
Of course.
Speaking of thawing out, New Jersey, Melissa, Teresa, they are never thawing out. What do you think overall? How are your feelings about the season so far? Because I think we're in we just watched episode 6.
Yep. And I'm late with my recap. I'm debating if I want to even do a recap because the way we tussle in those comments,
yeah.
Teresa and Jen Aiden stands get so upset with me, but still I rise. No, but in all seriousness, this season is tough to watch. It feels like Potomac 2.0 with the divide. I don't like seeing all this turmoil, all this chaos. I'm getting real tired of this John Fuda and Rachel Fuda versus Louis and Teresa. Y'all don't like each other. Leave it alone. Let's rest. Go your separate ways. I'm getting real tired of these sit-down conversations between the two of them, and then it goes left. Sunday, the last Sunday night, this past Sunday's episode was interesting. It was entertaining. It was actually funny.
Yes.
No more. I'm done. I'm just emotionally spent with this Teresa versus Melissa. It's ruining the whole group. Because let's be so for real. They have such a hate for each other that it makes it impossible for you to be friends with the other one.
With both, yeah.
You have to pick a side.
Yeah, yes.
You have to.
I felt for Messy Fessy because she came on last season being a friend, right? And she had talked about how she when they weren't filming, how she wanted to lose weight, do this, whatever. So Messy Fessy comes back. She looked good last year, but we can clearly tell she's lost weight. She's looking good. She got her jewelry on. I'm a official friend of, who knows, I might be a housewife. Oh. So when she was sitting there with Jen Aiden, like, this just really sucks. I'm like, yeah, because she made friends with Teresa thinking I get in with the head, even though Margaret is my girl. Yeah. Girl, no, it ain't going to shake out well for y'all. Y'all don't even get a reunion.
No, and not even a cast trip either. Yes. I said, you did your whole body. Because remember, she said she got lipo.
Yes.
She got on Ozempic. She got a facelift, eyebrow lift. She got her nose done. She got her rhinoplasty, breasts lifted, and implants. And she looks amazing.
She looks good.
She got a full body makeover. And this show might be getting canceled. You might be getting booed. You might not even be here. We might not even remember you. We're not going to remember you, Jen Fessler, after this season. So you did this.
I said, you know, she is mad. Like, I didn't went out of my way to become friends with Teresa because let's be clear. I know that we're all adults, right? And we are filming a show. But Brooke, if you brought me on, if me and you were actual friends in real life, not producers introduced us, we struck up a friendship, and then you brought me on. If we're friends for years in real life, you bring me on, and I find out another castmate has called your son, your child, you're my girl. There's not too much. I'm going to address you about it.
Exactly.
Either I'm going to address, if I have to be on the show with you, I'm going to address you like, that's my home girl. You expect me to try to form a relationship with you after what you did. So to me, that's what I was like, okay, I get it. Yes, everyone that comes on these shows, they want to be housewives. But I did think, I know people are like, oh, Margaret's trying to line up her team. I can see if you say that with Melissa, with Jackie, whatever, but Jen Fessler was her friend for real, for real. And you know, huh?
No, she sure was.
Yeah. And like, you know that this man called my son. Like that to me, that was too far. So, but when she was sitting there talking to Jen Aiden, I said she see all her housewife dreams go right
Fly
before her
away.
eyes. Rachel and John Fuda. When I was looking at Rachel and John, and then looking at Louis and Teresa, I was like, is Rachel and her friends going to be maybe who they move forward with? Because it gave me shades of old school Teresa a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Her and John. And I was like, I don't know. Because I'll say when they were at the luncheon last week, listen, I don't care. I know people, these Teresa stands, they love Teresa. Cool, you love who you love. But Rachel packed Teresa up nicely. Had Teresa run up out of there last week.
Did.
Teresa had more smoke for Danielle. Don't ask me that. Don't you ever ask me that. This girl's telling you you're stupid. You ain't doing nothing with your life. And you got a volleyball game to get to. Okay. When she said, she's stupid and young, and she said, you're a stupid. Oh, I said, oh, okay. Rachel went in. I will say when they all met up, I felt like it started out genuine on Teresa's part, but I feel like John Fuda did have an agenda, meaning there's stuff I'm gonna get off my chest. And no matter what you say.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh no, because he even said before when they left, when him and Rachel were talking before they met up, he even said it could go well or it could go left. But I think it's going to go left.
You're right.
He made up in his mind that he was going to turn it upside down. He wanted a scene. Because listen, if you really want peace and resolution, you're going into it with an optimistic mind. Like, okay, this could go bad, but hopefully it goes well. I'm going to hope that it goes, well, and we can just settle this once and for all and be cordial and be around each other, and there's no animosity. When he said it could go left and it most likely will go left, I say, yeah, he definitely wants to have a fight.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a tip. If he hadn't said that, then I would have said, okay, he did want to have peace, but things went left. No, he did want to, and I like Rachel and John Fuda. I am on their side in this whole thing. But I can call a spade too and say, yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
But you also wanted an iconic moment. You did want a moment.
Going back to when they were at Jen Fessler's party, and he says that Louis called him to meet up, and he was like, no, we could do it at the party. He was like, why couldn't y'all meet up off camera? But you wanted to meet up. So you're right. Like, he wanted a moment. Him and them Veneer's child, he wanted a moment. I'm with them, like you said. But I do feel like Teresa wouldn't have been able to do anything right in that moment, because he had already said, and that's a good point. Like you said, he already said it's going to go left. So he already had made up in his mind that it was going to go left. One scene, Brooke, and I don't know why this stuck out to me. When I tell you, I was laughing to the point where I was in my car driving home thinking about our recording, laughing like real tears. And it's so small, but Dolores, I'm not buying the whole Paulie, I want to be married. I feel like the same way people jumped all over Dr. David, like he needs to marry her. He's stringing her along. He had a conversation with her when they got into a relationship about how he didn't want to be married. she comes on the show. Now she's a main cast member and she has to have a story. And that became her story. David and her getting married. They break up. You get with a man who is in the middle, who's been separated for how many years? Who's in the middle of a divorce. And now all of a sudden, you're just itching to get married. To me, it's just another storyline for her. And I say that because, girl, when they went golfing, and after Marge was texting and hit that golf course, they all get out, they sit under the tree, and they start, and Melissa starts telling Margaret, you missed a brunch, that it's filling her in on the brunch, and was like, I did invite Jen Aiden to my home because if we're going to move forward, we're going to move forward. Dolores jumps in and says, yes, we can get into the petty BS with each other, but we got to move forward. Just like, and people are talking, just like people are talking about me and Paulie and getting a divorce. And Margaret said, who's talking about that? That was so funny to me because it was like, I could clearly see, Dolores, what you were trying to do. She was trying to bring the conversation to her. We're talking about petty arguments moving forward. Girl, wasn't nobody talking about you and Paulie?
Oh,
and
I caught that.
I was like,
that transition was embarrassing.
Yes.
I was like, that's a reach, Dolores. And this is really embarrassing. Like, if you just want to talk about this, just say that. Just say, can we change topics and then bring it up before you say, oh yeah, we can get into the petty stuff and then move forward. Oh yeah, by the way, just like me and Paulie, it was like, what are you like? Where did this come from? Like, what are we doing?
When Marge said it so casually, that's what made it funny to me. And then Melissa's face, Melissa starts laughing when she said, who's talking about that? Girl, ain't nobody talking about you and Paulie, but you for this show.
And I loved how Margaret clocked her because she was like, oh, I mean, like, well, who gets divorced and then they get, engaged or married within a week? And Marge said, well, I did. She said, when I got divorced from Jan, the next week, Joe took me to Vegas and we got married. He locked it down.
Yeah,
and
because
it's silent.
Because it's not like you just met. It's not like he just got freshly divorced and you just met. By this point, y'all have been dating for over a year within the middle of his divorce. So Marge had been messing around with Joe. They had cemented a relationship. So yes, they got married right after the divorce because they wanted to get married. If y'all really wanted to get married, you've been in this relationship over a year. So if it takes him another year to get divorced, yeah, I would expect you to get married because you're basically going through the technicalities of it in the financials, not the emotion of it. So I was like, Dolores needed a story. I truly believe. And now I think that's why Paulie got mad, to be honest. Now I know we like, Paulie, back up the way you talking to Dolores, but I truly feel like in his mind, he was like, now I know we didn't talk about this.
Yeah, but I kind of do think that Dolores is getting tired
Okay.
of just being like the forever girlfriend. And I also think that Frank, her ex-husband, now being engaged to I actually do think that she is feeling a type of way.
You know what? I didn't think about that.
Yeah, like, well, damn, like Frank is even beating me to the altar a second time around. And like, I'm still here. This guy is stringing me along. Like, no, I mean, I get what you're saying about she's using this for a storyline. I definitely think she is. But I do think that she wants to be married to Paulie. I think that she is getting angry that he's still legally married and won't let this go.
You know what? I didn't think about that in Frank because for the longest time, even though Frank was dating Brittany, he still wasn't married. He still wasn't even living with Brittany a lot of the time. He even lived with David even after they broke up, when he broke his leg. So I didn't think about that. She could very well be seeing what's going on around her and being like, you know what? I do want to get married again.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a very good point. I didn't think about that. Because when she took them glasses off at that table, and Joe Gorga, he did say, I've known Dolores since she's 5 years old. She wants to be the one, driving the Cadillac. I will say, when Paulie said he wants to go into business with Dolores.
Oh my gosh.
I feel like the whole reason you're not divorced is because it's tied to money and possibly businesses. So now you want to you're more focused on going into business with Dolores?
I don't think he's doing as well as he's pretending to be.
Mm.
Because we barely ever hear about what he does. There's rumors about what he does that is
Yes.
necessarily, it's not legal from what I'm hearing on TikTok. Um,
Same.
I just, it's giving fraudulent. And I'm so tired of these men who claim to be so successful meeting these women on these shows. Now, all of a sudden, you have to go into business with them. No, you know how I feel. When it comes to
Yes.
men and women, I do not believe in helping men, building with men financially. No, he needs to come already built up and prepared. And I don't believe in going into business with them, especially a man that's not your husband.
Right.
No, no. You claim that you're the moneymaker. You should not need my success or my clout or my fame to now piggyback off of me.
That
You
is
allegedly were this big successful man. Why do you need to go into business with me? It's giving fraudulent. I don't like how
yes.
these men do this. It's giving you're not as successful as you claim to be. You
That
should not need Dolores for anything
mm.
regarding finances and no, what were you doing before? Do that. I don't know. That's no, that I don't like
That
that.
is true. And knowing that she's on this show, you don't want to marry her yet, but you want to go into business with her, which could be like a marriage.
Yes.
That is a good point. I didn't think about that because when he brought that up, and even Joe in the confessional was like, "What's going on in that big head of yours?" Like, or nothing must be
Yes.
like, "What's happening?" Yeah, child. Jersey is I was shocked. I understand what you mean when you say it gives you like Potomac for some reason, and I'm thinking it's because I was more invested in Potomac than in Jersey. Where I would Jersey, I'm watching just kind of like laughing, like, "Oh, okay." But I don't know if we will see most of this cast next season. I wonder, especially with the rumors of them giving bloggers the shows beforehand. And we know that's a no-no, the screeners and all of that. I feel one of two ways. Either Jen, and I've said this, Jen Aiden is going to take the fall. If they bring Teresa back, they're not going to bring Jen Aiden back because somebody has to be accountable for that. Or they're just going to redo the cast. And look, I know people say the cast won't move forward without this person. The truth of the matter is every cast had a figurehead, and Vicky's gone, Nene's gone. I can see New York, they rebooted. I can see a Jersey without Teresa. I can. There are other women out there that could carry, or another cast of women that could
Yes.
carry the show. So I'm interested to see how they proceed to move forward. So
Yeah.
let's see. We shall definitely see. Brooke, I appreciate you. We went 4 minutes over. That was because I was talking to you in the beginning. But I appreciate you coming on. I love having you on. Y'all already know, like, since me and Brooke are friends, she's going to be back probably 1,000 times over. So for those of you, if you don't know, if you've heard of me, I'm quite sure that you know who Brooke is. But if for some reason you've been living under a YouTube rock, make sure you go to the Brooke Ashley. She does recaps. I love when she does her lives. Are we getting a live tonight?
I still have to film
Oh,
Jersey.
that's right. Okay.
Isn't Dubai coming back on now on
Oh, it
Tuesday?
is tonight. Oh, yeah, it's tonight.
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
Okay. Well, as long as we get I love your recaps. So, and I love when we get the surprise live, like, okay,
Yes.
here we go. I love those. So, Brooke, on social media, you're the Brooke Ashley on Twitter, right?
Yes. So I'm the Brooke Ash on Twitter. I'm the Brooke Ashley _ on Instagram. You can find me the Brooke Ashley here on YouTube. And I have an announcement. I have been keeping this quiet I've been working on this now for the last 6 months. I have a manager now. I know, right? Look at me. But God is so good. Today actually is the day I just got the official go ahead. I can announce it. But I will be on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So you can find me on the Brooke Ashley on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And this has been in the works now for 6 months. So we are
Oh,
and yeah, so I wanted to share this with you Like I just feel like it's very fitting that today is the day that I make the announcement, the official announcement. It just came out today, and I'm sharing this with you, Taria. It really means a lot. So I'm on Apple Podcasts and Spotify at the Brooke Ashley.
And this is coming out first thing tomorrow morning. So I will be saying I got the exclusive.
Yes.
Even if y'all hear about it today, she still told me first. So
yes.
Oh my gosh. So is it going to be, are you going to be doing episodes and then your YouTube, or is it going to be, are you taking your YouTube and turning them into podcast episodes?
So taking my YouTube recaps, turning them into podcasts, but then I'll also be doing additional as well. So I'll be doing like motivational, like, so
I love that.
Yeah. So it's going to be more, you're going to get more of me on the podcast as well. So look out for that, more content on my podcast. I'm super excited. So yeah. And I'm thrilled.
You see me, I'm like,
yes,
I'm so excited for you, Brooke. Oh my God. Starting today, we'll be able to find you then.
Yeah,
so I can go ahead and subscribe. Y'all go ahead and subscribe. And it's the Brooke Ashley.
The Brooke Ashley.
Y'all make sure y'all go ahead and subscribe to the podcast. I will, when I get off here, I'll be going right to my little iTunes. Boom, hitting subscribe. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh. So I'm going to ask you all these questions that I will be asking you on camera.
Yes, off camera.
So y'all, I hope that y'all like the episode. Again, if you disagree with us, y'all know we don't mind the friendly chat. Even a tussle every now and then, but a respectful tussle, okay? Because a real tussle will get you blocked. But we can do a little respectful little tug on the way. Y'all, I love y'all so much. Thank y'all so much for your support, and we will talk to y'all later. Bye.
Thank you.
Yes.